Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today, we're going to have a great conversation about income and wealth. We're going to talk about why income is temporary. Income is temporary. Do you hear me when I say income is temporary? We're going to break all this down for you right now on the Black Financial Channel. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I am your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day, because we are obsessed with Black wealth. We are obsessed with making sure that you are good. We are obsessed with making sure your family's winning in the next generation. And we live under the B1 philosophy. B1 means we are Black first. Black first means that you need to stop being ashamed of being Black. Black first means you need to stop putting other people ahead of yourself. Black first means you need to start putting your community at the top of the priority list. If you agree with that philosophy, put a hashtag B and the number one in the chat, hashtag B1. And let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm all the way in Mexico today, so I'm feeling a little self-conscious about whether or not you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me. Hello, Renita and Monique and 1-2. And Derek Rose, good to see you, brother. Diane Garrett and Brian and Joe and Darwin, I see you, I see you, I see you. Give me a yes in the chat to let me know you can hear me so I can know I can move forward. Thank you, Kevin, and the official Bossiana. That is such a great name, by the way, Bossiana. That's what I'm talking about. My woman's a Bossiana. Hey, baby, she got a nickname, a great name, Bossiana. You're not bossy? Okay, she says she's not bossy, but she is. She's a boss. She's a real boss. This lady got a PhD, and she's a full professor of social work, and she's a licensed therapist, and she's a certified life coach, and let me just keep going. I'm just keep going. So yeah, baby, you are a bossiana, whether you want to be one or not. She's not bossy, but she's a bossiana. You ain't got to be bossy to be the boss. Give me an amen in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. You ain't got to be bossy to be the boss. In fact, the people that are truly the boss don't have to be bossy to show you that they're the boss, because they can walk softly and carry a big stick. And that's what you do. You walk softly, carry a big stick. That's a little business advice for you guys. You ain't got to always walk around flexing your power. Just show your power through action. All right, so here we go. Let's get started on this conversation topic for today. This is something I want to discuss very quickly before I get on this airplane back to Kentucky. Actually, I'm going back to Chicago. Then I got to stop by Kentucky because a loved one of mine, unfortunately, was in this terrible accident with a drunk driver. And so if you've ever heard me ranting on this channel, you've heard me talk about how I hate drugs and alcohol. I hate the fact that they promote drugs and alcohol in the music and in the media. I hate all of that. And part of it is because of the thing that I'm dealing with now. I'm dealing with someone that I care about very much, who was hit by a drunk driver. And so I want to just take a moment to do a quick PSA and say, if you have relatives that are messing with that dope, talk to them, send them to rehab. If you have relatives that are messing with that liquor too much, talk to them. A lot of Black men and Black women have had their lives ruined over drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol have destroyed Black families everywhere. And so that's what's on my mind today. I had to be honest with you guys as we move forward. I know this is a conversation about you, but I just wanted to share that because it does break my heart to see when these things happen. So anyway, with that said, I want to talk to you guys about something I was working on this morning. I was working on a book I have coming out, and it's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. And the book comes out in March. And the book is it's basically my goal is to make it epic. You know, my goal is to make it epic because you guys know who my buddy is, who I look at like a father figure, Dr. Claude Anderson. And I can't match Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth. That's the book we're studying. But Black Labor, White Wealth to me was one of the greatest books ever written that every Black person should read. Every Black child should read this book before they're 10 years old. But I'm going to try my best. And so my book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. I'm going to release it in March. So I wanted to share with you guys the things that were on my mind this morning. And the thought that was on my mind this morning is this. Income is temporary, but wealth is permanent. Income is temporary, but wealth is permanent. Now, where did that come from? I don't know where my ideas or my thoughts come from. They just pop into my brain, and I just do what God tells me. So as a messenger of a higher power, I want to share this message with you in hopes that it will be received and that it will benefit your family for many generations to come, because I want to see you win. So here's what led to this thought. I think about, for example, when I talk to my little girl about, dating. and we talk about, the things that guys do to try to, win the attention of women. They like to flex, like, hey girl, I have a good job. I make 150,000 a year. I'm paid, girl. And that's my little buddy Tay Tay. So I'm schooling her on the game. She's gonna be a beautiful black woman one day, and I'm schooling her on the game. So we talk about, real life stuff. And I say, hey, I talk about how the guys walk up and they like to show off, with shiny objects and fancy cars and pretend like they're successful. And one of the measures of success that many people use is income. They talk about income. They talk, hey, I just got this job making 80,000 a year. I got this new job making 145,000 a year. Hey girl, look at me. I'm driving a Lambo. Hey girl, I went to the club. I could throw money up in the air. Hey girl, I'll take you out. You can have whatever you like. Remember that T.I. song, right? Like that's the measuring stick of economic success. And if you've listened to this channel probably more than like a week, if you've been on my channel more than a week, you will probably know that my response to some of that would be very basic, that you're missing, that what income is the tip of the iceberg and wealth is the actual iceberg. So income is the tip and wealth is the iceberg. So when people are talking about their income, they're really talking about the tip of the economic iceberg, because income really means almost nothing when you compare it to wealth, And so the same way that guy tricks you and he's like, hey girl, just let me put the tip in. Let me put the tip in. Well, you know what? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know that game, right? Don't fall for that trick. Please don't fall for that trick. So when they say, let me just put the tip in, girl, what they're doing is they're talking about their income and they're giving you the tip of the iceberg. The iceberg is wealth, right? The iceberg is wealth. Do you understand what I'm saying? Give me a yes in the chat if you follow what I'm saying, right? So ultimately, income is something that is important. We all need to make income at some point. Everybody does, because you need income to pay bills and in order to live and all these other things. But wealth is really what matters. Wealth is where the real power lies. Wealth is the measuring stick that measures one economic achievement against another. And one of the things that I find that's really interesting in our community, which we have to change expeditiously, to use the words of T.I., we must change this expeditiously, is we need to shift the conversation. The economic conversation must shift away from income to one about wealth. And so what I did was I made a quick little list of some of the ways that the capitalist system, that America's capitalist system, which has a history of racism as well, has pretty much brainwashed millions of our people to focus on income instead of focusing on wealth. So here are a few little things that happen. It's very subtle. Again, they like to sneak and put the tip in. Next thing you know, you're pregnant with white supremacy, right? they stick the tip in. They get you all excited about income, and next thing you know, you're a white supremacist and you don't even know it. Next thing you know, your community is going backward and you don't even know it. The next thing you know, black wealth is going down, and you're like, wait a minute. You ever hear the civil rights superstars and they talk about, well, we've made all this progress. We've made so much progress since the 60s. What progress? I mean, are our kids being better educated than they were, in the 1950s? No, the studies show that they're not. Are fewer people dying in the hood than there were 30 years ago? No. We set murder record rates. Like, murder records were set in 20 cities this year, by the way, just in case you want to keep up stats like that. Are families stronger now than they were 50 years ago? No, they're not. No, families are weaker. Families are not stronger. Is black wealth going up or is it going down? Well, black wealth is going down. So what progress are you referring to? Well, you're referring to superficial, artificial progress. You're not referring to real progress. You're referring to the fact that TV told you that there's progress because you have the wrong measuring stick of progress. So give me a yes in the chat. Let me know if you hear what I'm saying. Also, please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. By the way, BoyceWatkins.com is my website. If you want to go to that website, we meet for class 3 days a week. Tuesday, we have stock market investing class. You can join that if you want to. Wednesday, we have Dr. Boyce Book Club, where we as a community are our own public school system. We are reading Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. You ain't got to understand it. I'm going to break it down for you. Thursday, we're having the Black Wealth Boot Camp. That's where I talk to you guys about all the specific income generating strategies and wealth generating strategies that will get you off the corporate plantation. So we meet for class at least 3 days a week. And then I have a bunch of other instructors that meet all throughout the week so you can learn anything you want. So go to BoyceWatkins.com to learn more. So let me give you some quick little ways that the system indoctrinates you into into capitalism. Remember, capitalism doesn't work very well without its slaves. Capitalism, I know capitalism very well. I was a finance professor for many years. You guys know this. I still am. I still have my PhD. It didn't expire. I was on the faculty at Syracuse University for 13 years. So I know capitalism better than a man knows his ex-wife. And I know capitalism well enough to know that I don't want to be a capitalist. I also know capitalism well enough to know that I don't want to necessarily be a Marxist or anything else. I don't like those labels. So here's the deal. If you really look into the way you're educated from birth, if you look into the structure of culture, if you look into the way our children are introduced to media, you will see that this mindset, this capitalist slave mindset, is given to you from the time you're a child. Now, I don't have much time. Y'all heard the phone ring, and that means it's time for us to go to the airport. So I'm going to make this real quick. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to break this down for you real quick. The first way they indoctrinate you into capitalism and into believing that income is more important than wealth is they start with the public school system. The public school system is not designed to teach you how to be wealthy. Do you hear me? Give me a yes if you hear me. The public school system is not designed to teach you how to be wealthy. The public school system is not designed to teach you how to be wealthy. The public school system is not designed to teach you how to be a business owner. The public school system is not designed to teach you to have any sort of financial intelligence, financial security, or financial discipline. The reason for that is because if all Americans suddenly gain financial discipline and intelligence, the American economic system would absolutely collapse. Let me say that again. If all Americans were to gain financial discipline and intelligence, the entire American economic system would fall on its face, explode, and collapse. Do you know why? Well, why is that, Dr. Boyce? Ask me in the chat. Just somebody ask me. Somebody, Tezel, Darwin, Charlotte, ask me in the chat. Say, why, Dr. Boyce? Sharon, ask me. Just ask me why. Ask me why. Well, because when I was sitting in my PhD program and I was going through literally hundreds of gigabytes of economic data going back 100 years, do you know what the number one driver of economic growth is in America? It's consumer spending. It's spending. That means that if you stop spending, then they stop making money. If you're not out here shopping, like literally breaking the internet, trying to go do Black Friday sales and going to the mall and buying your Gucci and your Louis like all the rappers are telling you to do, then they can't survive. They are vampires that feed on the economic blood of poor people and middle class people. And what's happening is wages aren't going up. Wages aren't going up to keep with things like inflation. Your wages are actually going down. So what's going up is actually your debt. So the public school system is designed to teach you that. The public school system does not teach you how to be an owner. It teaches you how to be a good employee. Kids are not rewarded for being creative and innovative. They're being rewarded for sitting down, shutting up, and following the rules. That's your first indoctrination into a capitalist system. I'm going to be very quick. Number two, the media, especially media for Black people, constantly teaches superficial materialism. Your rappers were your biggest social media influencers before there was social media. The greatest influencer in the Black community is the hip hop artist. That's why they use the hip hop artists to push as many materialistic, capitalist slave messages that they possibly can. That's why you have every week a rapper is on Instagram in front of 10 million people flexing on how he spent $10,000 on some Louis Vuitton, $80,000 on some drip. Right? Louis Vuitton is run by Bernard Arnault. I did a breakdown of that. Bernard Arnault probably has more wealth than 10% of the entire Black community. You could take the richest 10, or you could take 10,000 random Black people, or maybe 100,000 random Black people in our community, maybe even a couple million, and they would not be able to match the wealth of Bernard Arnault. This man's worth over $100 billion. He makes more money in a day than most of you will make in 10 lifetimes. That's how rich this man gets, because rappers are promoting excessive materialism and getting us to think that materialism and income and spending are the ways to measure success. That's not a way to measure success. That is only a way to predict failure, right? That materialism does not measure success, ladies. If you're evaluating men, I know financial security matters for women quite a bit. I wrote a book called Financial Lovemaking. I did all the research on this. Women care about financial security, not because they're gold diggers, but because you've been wired this way for the last 100,000 years of evolution. And the reality is that a man wasting money is not a sign of success. It is a predictor of economic failure. Moving on. Number three. Family culture leads us to believe that income from a paycheck is the most important thing a person can accomplish. In many of our families, when we talk about money, the conversation is usually something simple like, well, if you want money, you better go get a job. How many of y'all heard that as kids? How many of y'all heard that as kids? Well, you want money, boy, you better go get you a job. Better go get you a job. Nobody says, well, if you want money, you better go start you that business. Nobody say that. Nobody says, well, if you want money, you better go buy you some real estate and generate passive income from your renters. And nobody says that. Everybody says, well, if you want money, you better go get a job. Right now, it's not the fault of your parents. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. It just means that they too were also infected with this virus called white supremacist capitalism. They were infected with the same virus that many of us are infected with now. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be the Black Dr. Fauci without all the ethical implications, right? I want to be the Black Dr. Fauci and say, look, man, we need to jab ourselves with some Black excellence and some Black intelligence so that we can avoid the virus of toxic white supremacist thinking. Number 4, let me give you number 4. Number 4 is that many of our people are raised to believe that integration is the key to success. The closer you are to white people, the more successful you are. So that means when white organizations give you awards and job titles, you're proud as a peacock. You're like, look, mama, I made it. I'm the assistant manager of the bottle plant factory, and I'm the one who puts the caps on all the bottles. Now, I'm not making fun of anybody. This is not job shaming. I'm not making fun of anybody who has a job. Most of us do. It's okay. I'm not judging that. But what I am saying to you is that when you believe integration is your key to success, right? You see this a lot. You see this all throughout media. You read a lot of even Black-owned magazines. They're constantly bragging about Black people who got fancy positions working for white people. Well, what that does is that incentivizes you to pour more into white-owned institutions than you pour into Black-owned institutions. Do you follow what I'm saying? That's why you have professional athletes with millions of dollars in the bank who will spend more time trying to get a opportunity with the NFL than they spend thinking, well, how do we create our own sports league? Well, because when you get into the NFL, everybody congratulates you. When that white-owned business gives you an award, or they give you a job, or they give you a fancy title, that gives you validation that your mama should have gave you at birth. You are somebody. Even if white people don't like you, I think that needs to be our new model for the 21st century and beyond. Number 5, this is the last one. Many of our families also discourage one another when it comes to starting businesses. We don't create what I call fertile economic soil. The ability to start a business comes from that childlike curiosity, that childlike courage, where you know how the baby who ain't never really been through nothing, he'll jump off the couch because he thinks it looks cool, right? Because he's never actually cracked his head on the floor. So he jumps off the couch and he'll touch the stove, to find out if it's hot or not, because he's been in a safe environment. He's never gone through any trauma that makes him scared. Well, obviously, jumping into the fire or jumping off the couch is not safe. But the truth is that when you start a business, you are taking some sort of a risk, right? There's a chance that you're going to go on and become really successful and make a lot of money, but there's also the chance that maybe things won't work out. Well, here's the thing about traumatized people. Before I express this, let me ask you, do you agree with me that Black people have probably been more traumatized than anybody else? Give me a yes in the chat if you understand and agree about the depth to which Black people have been traumatized in a horrible way for hundreds of years. Put your yes in the chat, because this is important for this next statement I want to make. One thing about traumatized people is that traumatized people are afraid to take a chance. Traumatized people are afraid to take risks when it comes to love. Traumatized people are afraid to take risks when it comes to money. Traumatized people are afraid to take risks when it comes to anything. So this is one of the reasons why. You guys know I have a beautiful wife, a beautiful, loving, wonderful, I like to say Black wife. I'm bragging because she's Black, because I just think Black women are amazing. And she happens to be a relationship therapist. And one of the things that my wife talks about in her therapy is how trauma literally rewires your brain and makes you afraid to take chances. So what I encourage you to consider is getting the therapy so that when somebody takes a risk, you're not the first one screaming, oh my God, it's gonna go bad for you. You better go get that job because that job is safe. What you doing? You crazy. The kids ain't gonna eat. Don't do that. Stop it. Just say, okay, all right, well, if this is your passion, how can I, as a loved one who loves you, support you in your passion? You want to go climb Mount Everest economically? Well, I'm not going to sit around and be a Negro naysayer. You know, the Negro naysayers, they find a problem for every solution. Right? I'm not going to be a Negro naysayer. I'm not going to sit around and tell you all the reasons why it's not going to work What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, since you're trying to do this, then I'm going to go to war with you, because I know that the more I go to war with you, the greater chance we have to succeed. So in fact, I'm not just going to go to war with you. All your friends are going to go to war with you. Your whole family is going to go to war with you. Everybody, all your Facebook and Instagram friends are going to go to war with you. So when you advertise that little business that ain't making a nickel, we're going to support you in every way we can. We might buy your product. We might share your post on social media. We're going to give you a like and a share and a thumbs up and a little fire emoji to say, way to go, way to launch that product. I'm going to do everything I can to go to war with you, because my goal at this point is not to discourage you from taking the risk. Is to help you minimize the risk by increasing the likelihood that you will succeed. Because when we all go to war together, we have the best chance of success. Do you understand what I am saying? Give me a yes in the chat if you get what I'm saying. Now, I got to go. My wife was sitting here giving me that funny stare like, hey, boys, it's time to go, because they're waiting outside for you. So I got to run out of here, but I had to share this message. And my wife also respects my passion, so she allowed me to get this out. And I need to go thank her, because believe me, it's hard to do this kind of stuff when you don't have a supportive woman by your side. And my wife is amazing. I appreciate her. And by the way, that's her website anyway, if you want to look into more of what she does. So I'm out of here, guys. I wanted to share this message. Again, the book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. It comes out in March. And also, don't forget, you can go to boycewatkins.com to check out some of the stuff we have going on. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and all that good stuff. And hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to whatever platform you're on right now. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell. We're building Black-owned media. We could really, really, really use your help. So God bless you. Go get it. It's 2022. This is going to be the best year ever. Give me a yes in the chat if you are committed to making 2022 the best year you've ever had in your life. If the answer is yes, put that yes in the chat. Let's affirm it. Let's own it. Let's claim it. Right now, we can't lose. God bless you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening. Peace.